Good afternoon, dear guests. It's an honor to me when I have now the honor of presenting my research title, as you appreciate, enhancing speaking skills enhancing speaking skills of beginner level students through the co-teaching method in EFL classrooms. Next slide. Well, let's start with how I work in my research. Well, first, in the Ecuadorian educational context, the national priority of the government is to acquire the English. Sorry, yeah, thank you. Yeah, please come on. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. During the next slide, sorry, during my presentation, I'm going to introduce you so what I have in my research project. So, with my introduction, where I established the problem statement, then we are moving to the theoretical framework, then analyzing the methodology, and then we are going to discuss the result and discussion, where I will dedicate a big amount of the time because I have many results to discuss. And then I will conclude with my conclusions and recommendations, sorry for this, and continue with the introduction. Well, in the Ecuadorian educational system or context, the national priority is that everyone in the Ecuador has to achieve the proficiency of English. So it is mandatory in our educational system. But there exists a significant gap in speaking skills. So what is happening there? Well, the problem is the systematic issues as overcrowded classrooms and also the traditional methods that are taught in our classrooms are leading to the affective filter where students struggle with fear to speaking in public, and also they have problems with anxiety and this kind of issues. Are provoking that the students have problems when they have to speak or when they have to improve their speaking skills. And well, there is where appear with my research, the co-teaching method as a holistic student solution to lower this affective filter and also to create a dynamic system where students will prioritize their participation and also the personalized feedback, where teachers can even improve their experience with this method and methodology. Well, the next slide, please. The objectives, the general objective to complete my investigation was to evaluate the effectiveness of the co-teaching method on improving the speaking skills among beginner level EFL students, focusing on fluency, accuracy, and communicative confidence. And to achieve this, I worked my specific objectives were to construct the theoretical rationale for proposing the co-teaching classroom as a holistic solution for EFL instruction. The second is to measure the influence of foundational co-teaching strategies on beginner level EFL students and engagement and participation in oral communication tasks. Third, to determine the progression of student speaking skills through co-teaching based intervention. And fourth, to compare the final speaking skill outcomes of the co-teaching intervention group against those of a control group taught via traditional solo teaching methods. The next slide. The theoretical framework where this research is situated this research is grounded by the foundations of the second language acquisition, in addition with communicative competence by Kenny and Swain, also the crashing affective filtering hypothesis, and by cultural theory, where this was complemented by the didactic principles of content reason, collaborative learning, differentiating instruction into segregation. These together helped me to form and create the co-teaching classroom model as a holistic and student-centered solution for the challenges present in the Ecuadorian context. Yeah. Next slide. The methodology. For this investigation, I employed a mixed method action research design with a quasi-experimental approach. Yeah. Well, so it was implemented in the Versión básica vino Manuel de Doc in the 7th grade, specifically with 7th grade parallel C and B. Yeah, because they were in the afternoon and it was possible to work with them in the internal schedule. So well, the students are between the 10 and 12 years old with an A1 level of English, and it was according to what we need to investigate or to apply our research. The population was 60 students, but were more than 60 students because in the classroom many parents didn't accept the participation in the project. So for my sample in the C, yeah, because I work in the parallel C, where was my experimental group, were sorry 3 people students, but they were like 35 in total. Yeah, and also they were, it is not well, sorry, I forgot to put here, but the control group was 26, but they confirmed the participation, but they were like 3 students even. So well, yeah, as you could appreciate, our graduate classrooms, exactly what we need to implement this method or this model. Yeah, and well, something else, yes, quantitatively, sorry, I use the pre-post-test assessment, working on recording each student by minute, where I analyze how was the production, the accuracy of the words, how many words they can produce, and even if they understand what they were saying. Okay, and it was applied to the both groups. Yes, we're remaining, yes. And then also the survey on effectiveness and the self-confidence survey at the beginning and at the end. Well, quantitatively, I approached this with an interview to the main teacher. It was conducted to the teacher, sorry. And also class observation with checklist and teacher reflection. The teacher reflection were more informal because it was at the end of the class that the teacher and me discussed about what happened in the classroom, what happened with the implementation of echo teaching, and what details can we improve or change. And then also the checklist that was in each session was recorded, and yes, and everything. Well, at the end, the survey also, in this part, I have some qualitative information because they comment what were the appreciation of the effectiveness of the co-teaching. Yeah, next. Now, let's go to results and discussion, and let's analyze these 2 charts. As you can appreciate, here I have the comparison of pre and post-test mean scores for experimental and control group. The experimental group are in green, and the green, and the control group, the control tests are in blue. Okay? And well, here is, yeah, I use put here the result in the green of the post test. Yeah, as you can appreciate the difference, the significant the variation that is from the beginning and the end. And also the comparison of mean improvement in scales between experimental and control group. Yeah. So well, here is the fluency, well, the difference between those, the beginning and at the end. So as you can appreciate, is the total fluency, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, and confidence and imitation. And yes, grammatically, we can appreciate this growth at the end of the application of this method. And well, also, another important aspect here is according to pronunciation. Students improve a lot in pronunciation thanks to the co-teaching method, to application of the co-teaching. Why? The students gave comment and say about that it was very useful that 2 teachers are present in the classroom. Thanks to the one assist and one teach model, we could approach the students and help them to improve their pronunciation with a consistent feedback. Because students sometimes say, I have 10 years old. It's not, you are 20 years old, right? Or something like that. Yeah, we applied this and it was evident with co-teaching, with participation, in collaboration of both teachers, students will improve even pronunciation. We can appreciate it's not influencing because when we are approaching the pronunciation, students can work better with songs because we apply songs in the intervention, and they improve their confidence and pronunciation thanks to that. But in fluency, according to what is fluency, they cannot use words to express the meaning they want, and they cannot connect words correctly to express the ideas. And it is different to evaluate. So here are the results. And also, in confidence, you can see, thanks to co-teaching, students improve their confidence, and it's very useful for that. Even it allows to see it help to lower the affective factor. And in general, you can appreciate is that. The next slide, please. And the results of discussion analyzes the perception of students, the self-perception, and also the perception on the effectiveness of the co-teaching. Here I have just the results of 14 questions applied in pre-survey and post-survey. This was just applied with the experimental group and even the effectiveness because the control group didn't receive the co-teaching method directly. And well, first, skill improvement, as you can see here, they were really interested on improving their skill on English. They were really engaged with each class from the beginning, and we could appreciate here evaluation, but there is a detail. Because at the beginning, when we test, they answer not aware of the answer they had in the survey. Yeah, but then through the co-teaching and also helping them to understand what parameters or what we are working in with the co-teaching, the students respond aware, but there is not too much deviation and there is not too much the difference. So we can say or appreciate the co-teaching also helps to keep the content work, to keep the progress of the content. Yeah. So what it also in self-confidence is the dramatic gain we can appreciate. As well, and also in fear of speaking contributes to the lower of affective filter. And well, concerning to the effectiveness of co-teaching, students, as you can see, recommend to work with co-teaching. And also they said it was fantastic, it was enjoyable, they learn a lot, they sing, and they are even they love when we work with the ukulele. So they comment they was helpful to bring that good environment. With help, they say that thanks to co-teaching, we can approach the needs according to what they need at the moment. Yeah. And also dynamism. And yes, the co-teaching, as you could see, the students say is flexible, it is feasible to apply different methodologies or different activities with this methodology, and even enjoy it a lot. And what also opportunities, the co-teaching offers more opportunities for speaking skills, and the skill improvement is evident thanks to the co-teaching. Next slide. As to these results, I draw these conclusions, and the first is the co-teaching method is a highly effective pedagogical intervention for enhancing the speaking skills of beginning DFL students, surpassing traditional methods. The second, it reduces the fear of speaking while significantly increasing the student confidence in active participation. The method generates measurable and notable improvements in key areas such as pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence structure. And fourth, the outcomes for the co-teaching group were markedly superior to those of the control group, whose progress was limited and showed no improvement in grammar. And next, my recommendations is formally adopt co-teaching as a primary instructional strategy in EFL classrooms to overcome the limitation of large class size. And second, strategically implement the most effective models such as team teaching, one teach, one assist, along with low anxiety activities as music and songs, because we implement this, and to foster confidence. And third, develop professional development and targeted training workshops for teachers on co-teaching methodology, focusing on practical application and co-planning. And four, conduct further research to explore the scalability and long-term effects of the model, including pilot studies in more schools and longitudinal analysis. Next slide. Well, yes. At the end of the research, we took some pictures. This was at the end. And so the class and even the partners decided to give that. Yeah, and during the implementation is the permanent test, examples, and the surveys, and also the classes, the classes.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Morales. And let's start with the whole question.
Yes.
Okay. And start with your notes.
Yes.
So you want to ask my question?
Now I am open to your recommendation to your suggestion because I'm trying to do this and I would like to present it in a better way. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, what I was I read your thesis, and I have some questions here. The first one is, how so you evaluate speaking, self-assessment, and self-confidence at the same time? Because when we are doing a research, especially in actual research, we have to focus specifically on one variable like speaking or fluency. And I was searching for your rubric in your document. I was not able to find it. So I didn't know what is your rubric, how did you use to evaluate it, and how so? Because self-confidence, I cannot mix it with speaking. So I did a specific rubric for self-confidence. Okay. And how did you do that process?
Yes, the part of the self-confidence I working with the survey, but they answer the survey according to that. And the confidence is according to what they answer in the survey. And the answer were, for example, are you afraid to speak in class with your classmate, with your teacher, or are you afraid to participate in English, something like that. Did I discuss this in the survey? Yeah. And of course, you are right what you mentioned, because it is a different topic, the confidence and also the speaking. But in students in that age, they show their feelings. It is more evident to analyze what they feel in the classroom and how they interact with the methodology. And well, they respond. That's why I also even mentioned that at the beginning they were not very aware to the answers they put in the first survey. Then in the post-survey they start to, for example, there were three answers. Just to summarize, it was the negative, the neutral, and the positive answer. Yeah. So at the beginning they just put the positive answer, the best answer. Yeah. But then when I was computing the information, I noticed in the post test they put the second option. They were more neutral, so they changed their mind. Yeah. So I can mention that they were more aware at the post test. Yeah.
Okay. So other thing is, you didn't mention the age of the students in the document.
In the document.
No, there's no age. And also you didn't mention the gender, how many boys, how many girls.
Okay,
This data is important.
Okay.
And the other thing is, when we're doing actual research, we work with a control group and experimental group. As soon as we finish doing research, we have to come back to the school, and in the experiment control group, we have to apply the innovation, because it's not fair that those students do not receive. Yes. Exactly.
What we did, and I also discussed this with Ms. Marina, she said just 2 classes during the incubation, just deliver 2 classes with the co-teaching.
Okay.
Yes, we did that. And yes, of
After
course.
the intervention.
No, during the intervention.
Oh,
Yeah.
during the
One, for example, in the experimental group, I had each class and had the implementation. But with the control group, I just delivered 2 classes with them, no more. I'm applying the
It's much better after.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we did that.
So it cannot affect your
Yes.
the results.
Yeah, I would consider it because they also asked me to teach there. And because the students enjoy a lot this method, yes, it was very useful for them.
I see. And the other thing is, add to your document the table with the grades of each student in the pre-test and the post-test. So participant 1, what is the grade?
Examples?
No, like the table.
Yeah, like they,
Yes, participant 1, pre-test, like 7, post-test, 11. With all of them, because we just see your means and standardization, but we need to focus on specific student. And also, this is connected to your table. So in your table, you are saying that the mean, the pre-survey is 2.97, for example. So
here in the document?
yes, the document, like the scores, or this one. Yeah. So it doesn't exist one student and a half. So you have to add percentage, like percentage. So
Percentage.
yes.
Yes, it is the mean, it is for yeah, it is for the survey. So the free survey is of this is from the
This is like the
speaking test.
comparison,
This is
yes.
from the speaking test. Yeah, it's the mean.
Yes.
Okay,
So
but just the mean.
and also is this graphic here. So that one is beautiful, it's excellent with but this one is kind of basic, like it's kind of I don't know what happened. I just copy and paste. So try to
yes,
go to that.
from Excel. But for example, here in the mean score, it is just the total here. Yeah, it's the same of that.
Yes.
Yes, the second chart.
Yes.
It's the same, but just the total because because in the table was this information together in the Excel, but to graphic that it was complex. But I tried to separate that the two tables. But yeah, you're right. I will add it to the end of the research or the project. Sorry, in appendices or
Yes.
yeah, it's just that
there. Yes.
because the table that extent that's the story.
Another thing is you said that in the document you use observations, right?
Yes.
But I didn't see any part of
Yeah,
the results
I have a question.
quotations from your
Can
observations.
I scan the checklist and then add it at the appendix?
No, maybe
One.
during the results you have to write at least one quotation for your observation. So what is the purpose of using observation if I don't use the results, the data in my study?
Yeah, in the study at the beginning of the results are the observation and
Yeah.
But you like the quotation, like quotation marks, the student did this, because the observation was you did the observation, right? So you have to quote you
Yeah,
that.
that's okay.
Okay.
I will consider it. And because Ms. Alina just sent me writing in a summary in general.
Okay.
Yes, just for that. I would like to write more. For example, I consider I need to write more in results. But Ms. Alina asked me to just generalize the information there, and if you recommend,
Okay.
and also gonna work.
Justification, sorry, is, well, I don't like to mention the name of the school.
Yeah.
So, but I think Ms. Alina, she likes to do that. But because for me, it's not ethical, and according to the things I was reading, so they said that we cannot mention because I can recognize the students. Because if you say the name of the school, the age, the gender, and the grades, I can say, oh, you are my student. So instead of that, I think you would just mention a public school, but talk to your tutor, with Ms. Alina, and maybe she has a different opinion. Okay, but
Yes.
bear in mind that information. Okay.
Thank you so
So
much.
that's
I will
a
consider
general
it.
excellent investigation.
Well, I agree many points with Mr. Gardel. Yeah, I don't like to mention the names of institutions, especially, with Ministerio de Educación, so
Yes.
if you don't have that approval from the district or something like that, so it is good to do it that way. And then, I have something related to the results, well, it's an advice, that you can just separate in sections. And start with the quantitative section, that you present everything that you're presenting here, just work on the recommendations given by Mr. Gardel, present everything about the quantitative, and then go with the qualitative. You mentioned in the qualitative instruments, you use an interview.
Yeah, it was a semi-structural interview. It is the recorded.
It was a?
Semi-structural.
Yeah, who interviewed?
Me to the main teacher.
Yeah.
Well, the class or the group.
Okay. And also classroom
Yeah.
observations. You mentioned that it was a kind of informal teacher reflections, but you have that there. And also you included a checklist. So I would like to know how you analyze all of these data because you have a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then you have to mention how you analyze that data and then present the results and also include some information given, especially by the other person who worked with you. Because I understand that you work with another teacher, right?
Yes.
That was co-teach.
Yes, the result is a part we are talking about interview. Yes. And but I would like to write more about checklist because it was a lot of information. That was
Yeah.
the amount of information that I had to assume.
That's why it would be nice if you get the need to analyze that data. So you collect everything and you do maybe a thematic analysis, and then you say like, oh, I found this important point here, or you found 3 topics or 3 themes
Yes.
that you want to mention.
For example, just to ask, for example, the checklist, there are some just parts or like blocks, yeah. For example, the teacher collaboration, students participation, and confidence or even because the students participate more or they produce more work, or even the another check is students you hesitate less, something like that. Yeah, so divided by blocks and presented according to what the needs.
Yeah, you need to focus on organization because I could see that you have observations.
Yes.
Like qualitative, then you include everything about observation. It's not so clear, it's like everything. Then you go with the quantitative and then you go again with the interview. So reorganize that information. And then improve the visuals. And I have another question. You have a control and experimental group. How many students did you have in the control group?
The control T1 or T2, yes,
The
but
T1.
yeah, for the study was 26. Yes, I need to add it.
Okay. The real number of students, 26, the control.
Well, for the research, yes, because they as the parents.
Yeah, the ones that the
participate.
parents have said, yeah,
Yeah,
26.
26.
In the experimental,
22.
32.
Yes.
Well, then you also answer Mr. The
Yes.
question that you
I-
provided
yes.
the possible benefit, and well,
Thank you. Yes.
what is it?
And you added that information there because it's not like I didn't know that they did a experimental and a control group because it's not here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Maybe you need to mention that in population you have to include there. What is how many students you have in the country, how many students you have in the experimental. Then I have
Yeah,
another
but it's
question.
very organize this.
Yes.
Exactly.
And from this, let's separate the groups.
Remember to avoid that, maybe one public school, 7th grade students from the public school in 12th.
Yeah.
And then, what it means, I know that that was words per minute.
Word per minute, yes. Word per minute, yeah, is
So,
what is
it doesn't match with the information here.
why?
Because I was like getting that you measure fluency, so students just like speaking and then you count the words per minute, and then I expected to see a kind of table with what was the mean at the beginning and then at the end, but so
Yeah, I have a table where all the words they produce, even if you want, I can add it at the end also.
But when we talk about fluency, we talk about words per minute.
Yeah.
We talk about corrections, how many times you do the corrections, the pauses, the 2 types of pauses. The silent pauses, which is students that didn't say anything, and the filled pauses, which is students say, well, or in Spanish they say, es,
During the minute?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
this is to measure fluency.
Yes. Exactly. According to that, it was the rubric and in fluency they have a lot of citation Yes, especially yes, yeah, for that I fluency they know the grade for them was 1.
But yes,
But yeah, you're right. Even I could divide it better in the results.
I do not agree with you that it's a word per minute.
Well, the word per minute was organized because in a A1 level, the students or the learners produce from 10 to 50 words in a minute. If you put it to work to speak in a minute, even Ms. Aleka say, if you put me to speak in a minute, I don't know what to say. Yeah, but in school it was evident for students that was easier to relate in that way because it's difficult to ask them or tell you something or ask questions and then we do not receive the answer. But I focused it or approached it in this way because it allowed me to check how they produce the word, what words they know and what is the range of the words or what kind of vocabulary they got and something like that.
Do not mention words per minute.
yes, delete that information.
Pre and post test assessment, speaking rubric, maybe.
Okay,
That's it.
but yeah, the way was with the first word per minute. So just
Yeah, be like that, because you did not only focus on words per minute, you were mentioning that you focus on
more aspect, more
fluency, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, confidence. So that was not the only one assessment tool that you used. You used a speaking rubric.
Yeah, was more generalized.
Exactly. Then if you want to explain more about that, we use speaking rubric, that I measure fluency, pronunciation, grammar.
Yes, because when we see this, we think that you only measure students' words per minute. If
Yes,
they
and
prove
all
the
the-
words in 1 minute with the whole teacher.
Yes, and one more.
Yes, that's it. So that's not the purpose. So yes, yes.
That was a good job.
Yes.
I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying the
For
words.
you, it's super good.
Yeah.
Because when the professor asks you, it is for try to be more here and you will
Yes.
yeah, and understand better. And this is just a evaluation for you for a test, but it's not the final. And that is the idea. Okay, Mr. Diago, ask a lot of things. I'm gonna ask
Any recommendation maybe?
yeah. I know. I want to know more about you. You were talking about the traditional method. What kind of traditional method did you find in your research?
Yeah, in the school they work just with the traditional method of repeating words, but just delivering the class just with one teacher. And the problem in Valencia, in the public in general, in Ecuador, is you will find overcrowded classrooms and it is difficult to deliver the class for each one. So even when I arrived in the school, they put me with the teacher that is improving her English. Sorry. So I even take advantage of that because Miss Carol, sorry, I have not mentioned that, but Miss Carol was really happy because take this opportunity to improve the teaching class. And yes, it was useful. I teach them a lot how to pronounce the words and how to approach with the students and many aspects. Yeah, Miss Carol and all the students enjoy this practice. And that's why it was very, I don't know how to, well, it was very engaging for them because it was totally different to what they have in all the years. Because it was 7 days, so they have 7 years that they have some the same thing. Yeah.
And you use some models of co-teaching.
Yes.
How many models of?
Yeah, there exists from Cook and Friends 6 models of co-teaching, but they propose that. And the co-teaching, what we mentioned is it is flexible to according to the needs of the classroom for the moment. For example, we reflect because we have an action process that we analyze, we analyze, we reflect, so something like that. And the first 2 weeks we analyzed, it was difficult to work with the parallel teaching divided by groups, even because it was 16 students per group. It was even difficult for us. And because they have a lot of energy and they want to see
And which one you consider is the first one with this group?
with the group, the team teaching. Team teaching, because one teacher is delivering the class and the other teacher is providing the necessary feedback to each student, and also the other teacher is that the field teacher is delivering. It is very useful. And even it's similar to one teach, one assist. For example, if you want to just analyze statistically one specific model, you will have just one teach, one assist, and it consists just one teacher and the other just assisting the students for something, a tab or a presentation. But my proposal is to work in a flexible flexible classroom where we can apply different models. It is allowed. So in other research, I read they apply even in the lesson plan. They have, for example, the three models they apply during the class. Yeah. So it was really difficult. But according to the students in the class, in the context we got there, it was difficult to work with group teaching and also the parallel teaching and the station teaching. That is divided by groups and something like that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moaz. I appreciate your presentation. I appreciate that you